It occurred to me the other day that even though I have been making YouTube videos for about 2 years now, I have never done a video directly about my disability. I've mentioned it many times, I've given you little snippets here and there, but I've never done the OI video. So here we are. Hi, my name is Abby and I have Osteogenesis Imperfecta. Basically, from what I understand, I am not a doctor and I am not a medical expert in my own disability. I would consider myself an expert in living with my disability, but I'm definitely not an expert in the medical side of it. Now basically what it is a issue with the connective tissue in my bones, usually from a lack of collagen, I believe is what I read on the Wikipedia once. And that basically just means that my bones break easily. I'm not as breakable as I was when I was little, but my parents used to always use the analogy with the other kids that my bones break like a uncooked spaghetti noodle, you know what I mean? And I always use the analogy whereas you would get hit in the head on the playground with a soccer ball and it would hurt, but you'd be fine, whereas my head would be broken. That's really the gist of it, is that my bones break easy. Now there are obviously other things that come with it other than just the breakable bones. A lot of us are short. We've got some physical deformities, like for me it's my super long bowed arms and my bowed legs that are not super long, but they're long by OI standards. You know, loose joints, hearing loss, breathing problems with our teeth, which is why my teeth have never been super gorgeous. I do my best, but you know, it's what I got. And blue sclera in your eyes. So somebody actually commented on my videos once that they always just assumed that my white balance was off, but nope, that's just my eyeballs. The whole eyeball is blue. There are 8 different types of osteogenesis imperfecta. I'm not an expert in the types and what they are and what they come with though, because when I was a baby and they were trying to classify me as which type I was, surprising no one, the doctors couldn't figure out which type I was, and so I'm undefined. I'm apparently a mixture of a whole bunch of different types. Great. Some of the types of OI aren't as severe as mine, if you will, in the sense where people can weight bear, they can walk. My bones are so breakable that I can't walk, but some people can. So if you can walk, there are a whole bunch of other, like, things they can do to help strengthen your bones. You can have surgery to put rods in, there's a bunch of things that you can do, but because of my physical deformities and the fact that I was never going to be able to walk, I never did any of that. So a lot of people that I know with my disability have had a gajillion surgeries. I've had none. You can, you know, take pain meds, you can do physical therapy. I did physical therapy the whole time that I was in school, basically, like elementary school. I had a physiotherapist and an occupational therapist that came to school once a month each to either work with me physically or figure out the logistics of me getting around my chair, that sort of thing. I never had to do braces. I never had to have the neck brace. I never had to do any of that, but it is an option if people with OI need it. I do have a seat on my chair that is fitted to my body now. I never had that before, but the idea is to kind of shift my weight, because another part of OI for myself is a little bit of scoliosis, so my spine is a little bit curved. So in molding my chair to my body, they kind of are trying to help it go the other way to help straighten me out a little bit, just to prevent future issues with my body. It's not really about aesthetics, it's just about making me better. Which brings me to another little fun story. When I was a baby, the doctor wanted to chop up the bone in my leg, basically. Sorry if that sounds really aggressive, but he wanted to chop them up. My mom always used to say cucumber slices in order to straighten them. And my mom said, will that make her walk? And he was like, no, her legs will just be straighter. And my mom was like, well, what's the point? why her legs aren't even that bowed to begin with? Like, why do they need to be straightened? So that never happened. That would have been my one surgery, but it didn't even happen. I have broken a lot of bones in my body, not as many as some of my other friends with OI have, mainly because a lot of them are older than me. So when they were growing up with this disability, there wasn't a lot known about it. So, you know, trial and error in life sort of thing. So a lot of things happened that my parents didn't have to worry about, because there were people before me for my parents to learn from, you know what I mean? When I was younger, we met other people with OI and my parents learned. Some of my bad breaks are when I was 4, I used to, like, because my house isn't super accessible, I used to just, like, we called it bum shuffling, like just scoot around on the floor, and I turned too fast and I broke my femur, actually. So that was when I was going into kindergarten, so I spent many months in the hospital then. That was probably the worst break. My second worst break, if you ever noticed, this arm is much more curved than this one. It's because I broke this one. I had a big, like, 40-pound karaoke machine when I was younger, and the wires got stuck in my wheels one time and it pulled it down on my arm, and my arm, the bone was like this, and then it went like that, and it healed like that, actually. So sometimes it's not my friend sometimes, but to have only really had a couple of really bad breaks in my life, and I'm now 23, I consider myself very lucky compared to some of the other people I know with OI who have had many, many more. because of my various deformities on my body, that makes it kind of hard for, clothes to fit and that sort of thing. That is a topic that we have covered on my channel before, because my channel is very aesthetics based. So talking about having to fit clothes for my huge ass but my really short legs, that's part of my disability, you know what I mean? Something that's really short here but it has to be big enough for my chest, that sort of thing. So we've covered that all in a video before. I will make sure I put it in the cards up top. Is it this side or this side? I don't know. And yeah, the official color of Osteogenesis Imperfecta is yellow. That's why I'm wearing my bright yellow dress today. Wishbone Day is May 6th, which I know has just passed, but just make sure you celebrate it next year and you wear your yellow in honor of me and all my unbreakable friends. And basically that's it. If you have any other questions about Osteogenesis Imperfecta, I would be honored to answer them in the comments below. And if I don't know the answer, I can definitely route you to somewhere that might know. Check out the OI Foundation. They have most of the information that I have gathered about my disability throughout the years. Whenever I have a question, that's usually where I go first. And then if that there doesn't have the answer, I will consult one of the people I know with my disability. OI affects approximately 1 in 15,000 people is what the Wikipedia told me, so not a lot, but enough that we've all kind of found each other on the internet and we all interact. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already, and I will see you next time. Bye!